In this lesson we're going to be talking about position 3 of the minor pentatonic scale and of the blues scale. Now it's really important that you know first position 1 and position 2, and you can use it and you know some licks that go within each of those different positions before you try and do 3. Much more important to be able to actually play a solo than to just know scales up and down. So if you've got position 1 and position 2 down, you can play them up and down, you know some licks and you can use them to make up a solo, then you're ready for this lesson where we check out position 3. So we're going to go to a close-up now, and I'm going to show you the different fingering options that we've got for position 3 of the minor pentatonic. So here we are for position 3, A minor pentatonic. Now because it's an A minor pentatonic, we're starting with our 3rd finger on the note A, which is found at the 12th fret of the 5th string. That's going to be our starting note. That's the root note. That's where we get the name of the scale. Really important that you start and end there when you practice. So we're starting with the 3rd finger there, then 1st finger, 3rd finger. Then 1st finger drops back a fret to the 9th fret, and 3rd finger is staying on the 12th fret. 1st finger comes back up to the 10th fret. Now you can either use your 3rd finger or your little finger here. It depends on, really, it's kind of random for me which finger I use, to be honest. So I'm going to use my 4th finger now just to show you. So 1st and 4th. Then 1st and 3rd on the thinnest string. Come back down. Back down the scale now, we're going to the 1st finger, then 3 and 1 on the thicker string, and back up. So now I'm going to play the scale nice and slow all the way up and down. Now I just want to show you some of the really common variations and misconceptions with this scale. Now some people try and start it here with the little finger. Now the problem with doing this way using the 2nd and 4th fingers is they're the weakest fingers, and there's no way that you would actually ever do a solo like that. You'd use these. You almost certainly use fingers 1 and 3 here. Now if you want to, you can use your 4th finger on that all the way up, or you can use 1 and 3 for the whole scale, in which case you're going to use the 2nd finger on the top. Doesn't really matter, it's up to you to make those fingering choices. Of course, you have to be very careful what notes you bend within a minor pentatonic scale. You can't just bend whichever notes you like. So I want to take through and show you which notes are good ones to bend and which ones are good ones to curl. Now, the thickest string I'm not going to worry about because neither of those are particularly good for bending or curling. Same as the 5th string, really. That one and this here, the note G, and the root note A, neither of those are great for bending either. The next note that we have in the scale is this note C here at the 10th fret of the 4th string. Now this is quite a good one to put a curl on. It's not a proper bend, you just do that little bend there with the 1st finger. Now the next note here, this D, you could bend, but it's quite a big. If you're going to bend that one, because it's the 4th string, you'd pull it down as opposed to pushing it up, and that would be a tone bend, so bending it to the note E, the note D. It's quite a big bend, pretty uncommon. The other note that you can bend this one to if you want is the blue note, which we're going to talk about in a sec, which is this note here. bending that note D to a D sharp, which is the blue note. As I said, we're going to talk about that in a sec. If we continue up the scale now, this note, not really going to be able to do a minor third bend from there, so that one's not going to get a bend. Here we are on the note G. Now this one, if you want, you can do this as a tone bend, which will be a bend to the note A. Bending up to the root note, quite a nice trick. Continuing up the scale, we got the note A. We're not going to be bending that with the first finger. Now here we've got the note C, which is 13th fret second string. Now this note is a good one. You can either bend this one. No, this one's going to be a curl, or it's going to be a tone. So you can. Which is just adding a little curl to that note C. Very nice one to put a curl on, and that one can also take a tone bend. So that one's very, very nice one to bend. Now we've got here on the top part the note D. Again, you're not really going to do a bend with that note, to be honest. You could bend it to this D sharp here with the blue note. Pretty unusual to do so, but it's possible. And the last note here, E, you could bend that one, but that's going to be a minor third bend, so bending the note E to G, which is a really, really big bend, and one that's definitely going to take a bit of skin off your fingers. So now I want to talk a little bit about the blues scale. So the blues scale is the same as the minor pentatonic, but adding a flat 5 degree to the scale. Now you can learn to play a blues scale straight up and down, but a lot more useful is just to know where the note is in relation to the minor pentatonic scale, and then practice using it as part of your licks, or jumping up to it and coming back from it. So what I want to do now, either have a look at your PDF sheet if you bought the DVD, or have a look on the web page for this lesson, and have a look at the little diagram that will have blues scale P3. P3 meaning position 3. And you'll see on that there's little red B's, and those little red B's are the blue note. So what we're going to talk about now is just different ways of accessing those, rather than just trying to play the scale straight up and down, although it shouldn't be particularly hard to figure out if you really want to. So here we go, starting off the A minor pentatonic position 3, the first instance of the blue note is here up at the 13th fret of the D string, which is the 4th string. Now to access that note, you can either use your little finger and continue the scale as normal, but a really good idea is just use your 3rd finger to slide up onto it, and you can slide up and back. It's a really nice way of utilizing that note. Now the same degree is also found 1 fret below the 9th fret note that we had as part of the scale, which you can do a nice little 1st finger slide back. Nice little trick there to have that 1st finger sliding back. Now the same note again is here, 2nd finger, which is going on the 11th fret of the thinner string. Just fits perfectly under that finger there, so that's a really nice way of using that one. Now it's also found down here at the 11th fret of the thicker string. It's a little bit harder to use that one really. You don't tend to use that one as much because you're not playing on the thicker string in that position so often. Of course you can, but you could use a little lick like that if you want. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little look at the position 3 of the minor pentatonic and the blues scale. Remember, you just have to experiment a little bit with the use of that blue note. Of course you can play the scale up and down if you want, but that's not the way that we use it. We use it by playing licks, and that's what the next lesson is about. So please check out the next lesson now, which is licks for position 3.